Welcome back to the Charlene Show, where we discuss taboos, social, cultural, religious, lifestyle, and human interest stories. We're continuing with our series on family, marriage, and divorce. And today I'm joined by Gail Cooper. Gail, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for joining us. Can you please tell us who you are? Introduce yourself.
Right, I am a teacher.
Yes.
Mainly, I'm trained to work with kids who have learning problems,
Okay.
and I work with children from grade 0 to about A level. And a lot of my children come from homes where there's a one parent, or there's been a divorce and remarriage, something like that.
Okay, so already we've got a problem that the child has got a learning
Learning issue,
issue,
yes, yes.
and then they're coming from a single parent home. What effects does this cause now on the learners?
Well, people who are stressed, whether they have a learning problem or they don't have a learning problem, it affects the way that they learn and communicate. So somebody who's in an exam who has no learning problem can start doing things like leaving out the middle of a word or spelling things in a bizarre way or something like that. So if they already have an issue, it can cause them to regress. I had one child who was around about 9, I think. There was family issues, there was bullying at school, and he forgot how to spell his name.
Okay.
And we actually had to start teaching him alphabet and sounds right from the beginning again.
At 9 years.
Mm.
Okay, so now the family unit is important for the development of a child. But when we're talking about the family unit, should it really matter whether the family is single parent or maybe the children are being taken care of by their grandparent? Should all of that matter? Or there is an effect that coming from a double parent home has on learners with difficulties?
Well, I think the ideal is that there are two loving parents who nurture the children, both physically, mentally, spiritually. But we don't live in an ideal world.
Oh yeah, we do.
So I think what is most important is the relationship between a child and whoever is their carer.
Okay. So how now does this loving double parent home that we yearn for in an ideal world, how does it affect now the development of the child? And when this family is no longer there with learners with difficulties, how have it been like? How has your experience been like with learners coming from broken homes?
Okay, well, as I said, there's often a regression in what they actually learned. Children with learning problems are not sort of the standard people, but everybody's different, so things affect people in different ways. Some people fall apart completely, other people actually strive to be perfect so that they'll be accepted, because there's a number of factors that are involved. In a two-parent family who are caring and nurturing, the child grows up with confidence, with a good feeling about what the world's going to be like. So if they're having very negative experiences in their family, this could have very far-reaching consequences to not only the child but to anybody that the child actually interacts with. Because if you study sociopaths, I think it's practically 100% of sociopaths have had a difficult childhood. And there should be this relationship between parents and children. And if that's lacking and a child feels that they are alone in the world and they have to fight everybody around them and everyone's out to get them, it can, warp the mind completely.
Oh yeah. So as a teacher, how have you been dealing with children with difficulties, learning difficulties coming from broken homes? How has your experience been like?
Okay, well, the first thing that we try to do is build up their self-confidence, because everybody is good at something, even if it's looking good, dressing well. Everyone's good at absolutely something. So we look for what kids are good at, what they enjoy, what colors they like, whether they like animals, what they feel they want to be in life, and we sort of work from there. I often, if I come across a child who looks at a book and starts yawning, I don't even go that way at first. I play games with them.
Okay.
Because you can learn a lot from just playing games.
Yeah, true.
So we go like that and slowly sort of get them into more formal learning and slowly sort of build up the amount of work they do. In our group, we actually try to encourage the other children to assist us in that, and encourage each other and not ever laugh at each other, or not that we don't have fun in the class, we do laugh.
Yeah.
But children learn so much more from other children than they will ever learn from an adult.
Oh yeah. Is it possible that divorce can affect children positively?
Yes, of course it can. If the parent that leaves the family is abusive, drinks and, abuses family members, or just, is showing a very bad example of how people can live effectively, or, they bring the child down or something like that. It's, every case is different, and yes, it can be a positive.
And unlike dealing with children with learning difficulties, I'm sure you also deal with the divorced parent. How has your experience been like? Because you're being shifted from being a teacher to also being a counselor. How is it like?
Well, you know that people who have been divorced, it depends on who is the one who wanted a divorce, or whether a person's been rejected, how they feel about it. They might be very angry. They might be so busy trying to survive that they don't have time for the child. So it's very important for teachers and parents to work together. And so as much as we can, we try to support the parent if we can help them. We sometimes have parents that they're not even getting enough food in the home. And so if we have something to share or something to give, we will do that.
Okay.
We can try and counsel an adult, but unless somebody asks for help, we can't really just sort of charge in there, and
Yeah.
unless the child is having some kind of problem at school, or they're bullying, or they're stealing, or they're
Yeah.
doing some such thing, you know, you can't really say much to a parent,
Yeah.
except to be welcoming, accepting, listening.
Yeah, no, that's very true. There are parents out there with children with learning disabilities, with learning problems. Where is your school? What is the name? Where are you located? Yes, such information like that, because I'm sure our listeners are wondering where is Gail talking about?
Okay, the school's called Southern Lights Trust. It started with one child. I was just helping one child, and I did that for a term. And the next term we had 3 children, and the term after that we had 8 children, and it carried on like that. And so we only take around about 35 kids.
Per term or per year?
Yeah, we run school like normal school. We run from 8 to 1, and we have the normal math, English, social studies, sciences, but we also bring in music, dance. Dance actually is a very important thing for anyone with a learning problem, because you have 2 hemispheres on the brain, and one of the theories about what happens is that half a word can be stored on one side and the other half on the other, and so you need a quick connection between the 2 hemispheres, and dance helps that. And we're in Greendale, but right at the moment we're full, but if somebody comes for help, we always try to extend, you know, give extra lessons, or send out work for people who are in between schools or something like that. We never don't try to help, but at the moment we can't take any more in.
Okay, so you have got what, grade 0 to A level?
This term we've got, well, we have a sort of student that is rewriting a subject in O level, and they're also doing a couple of subjects in A level, but they're not sort of formally in a class. We just give them work, and they're sitting there in the morning sort of doing their own work, but sometimes it depends on who comes to us. We don't advertise, and we just try to help whoever comes our way.
Okay, so you have success stories, right? I mean, how long has your school been in existence?
I've been teaching there for 30 years, and we turned it into a trust in 2014.
Oh wow, that's how long. And when it comes to learners coming from broken homes and the difficulties that they faced, do you have success stories?
We have a lot of successful stories. Like any situation, you win some, you lose some, but we win quite a lot.
Okay.
And we had one student go to UK, did very well in high school. She was student of the year, her first year of college.
Okay.
And just using our methods, and I wouldn't say she was an academic student as such, you know, she wasn't super bright or anything like that. We've got such a mixture. We've got you know, kids with quite severe learning problems. We occasionally get someone who is autistic. We don't take people who are very autistic, but if they have Asperger's or something like that, which is a low-grade autism. In fact, I probably am Asperger's myself. And we had a kid come to us in grade 6. He'd been in the formal school, and they'd given him like 2 easy sums a day, and he'd been in the habit of just staring into space for the rest of the morning. And so we gently sort of brought him back, not daydreaming, and the other kids helped us, you know. If they saw him daydreaming, they'd say, "You're daydreaming," you know. And by the time he was about, I think we had him 2 years or so, he was working on the same work as the other kids.
Oh, wow.
People with autism have a lot of trouble understanding their own feelings. And so we were so excited one day when we sent him out for a time out, and he came back and he wrote on the board, "I have just failed this test for a gazillionth time and I'm so angry."
Okay.
And it was so exciting to see the other boys in his little support group, you know, when he was doing time out, making excuses to scrabble in their suitcases to just check and see if he was okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of our kids keep in contact. A lot of our kids are married to each other.
Oh. Okay. That's expected.
Well, we don't encourage any romantic things in the school.
At the same time, you can't control it.
No, but you know, we've had all sorts of things. People have gone all over the world. They've gone into management positions and all sorts of things. Because what we've discovered is that these days nobody knows what we're actually educating for.
Okay.
So we have to look at education in a whole different way.
Yes.
People have to have confidence. People have to be treated as individuals, bring out their strong points, strengthen their weak points, and teach them social skills, environmental skills, analytical skills, so that they have a chance of going out into the world and taking what opportunities come up, rather than preparing someone you know, you're going to be an office worker, you're going to be this, you're going to be that, because we just don't know what the future's going to hold.
Oh, that's very true, Gail. That's very true. So lastly, how can parents out there notice that their child has got a learning problem?
Okay, it's very important to start children reading and teaching them rhymes and things like that. If a child has difficulty rhyming, this is often an early sign. If they have difficulty saying long words, like we say to them, you know, say constitutionalism or something like that, and they can't do that very well. They can't remember like sequences, like the days of the week, the months of the year, times tables, things like that. They have difficulty reading when it's reading time. Things like that are pointers to a learning problem.
Okay, all right, and they should seek help for the child.
The sooner the better. I mean, I occasionally get people coming to me just before they're writing O-level to say now the child's a problem. I had one case where the child was supposed to write O-level and they actually couldn't read at all, and I had to start him from alphabet on his O-level year, you know, and I mean it's...
And sometimes now when the parents are divorced, it's may difficult. Take long for the single parent to identify that this is the problem. Maybe because they are not giving enough time to the kids and things like that.
Yeah.
So these are some of
the children, build up, because if you haven't built up a relationship in the early years, when it comes to the teenage years, it's going to be so much harder for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, it was an interesting conversation, Gail. Do you have any last words to our viewers regarding children with learning difficulties and the effects of divorce on them?
Yes, well, it's as I said, I had that one child that forgot even how to write his name. Another thing to look out for is jumbled words, all sorts of the B and D thing that most people say is not necessarily a pointer until after 8 years old.
Okay.
But I just would say encourage children to read, speak to them, be sympathetic, you know, try to build up their confidence. And whoever looks after them, make sure they're not, you know, sort of pulling them down or smacking them around for no good reason or any reason at all.
Oh yeah, no, that's very true.
Yeah, they should be very careful who they leave their children with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they've heard. You said the name of your trust is
Southern Lights Trust.
Southern Lights Trust.
Yeah,
Okay.
not like the computer. I had to send a letter to the States. The computer changed it to Southern Tights Trust. And we now live in Karate.
Okay. Yeah. So, thank you so much, Gail, for joining us. It was
Thank
a
you.
beautiful
And
discussion.
thank you for what you're doing. It's very important for people to be aware of social issues.
Oh yes. Thank you so much. Your support carries us, eh? So this is Gail Cooper who was talking to us about the effects of divorce on learners with difficulties. So learners who find it difficult to the effects of divorce with on learners with difficulties. So Gail, you're the
I'm the
principal,
founder of
the
the
founder.
trust. I'm the head teacher. I'm the English teacher. I'm the maths teacher.
Oh yeah.
I'm a lot of
Yeah.
office worker, toilet cleaner, whatever.
Yes, so if you have got a learner who's got difficulties, Southern Lights School is the place to go. Check them out. And she was talking to us about the effects of divorce on learners with difficulties. So if you feel that you've got a child who's got learning difficulties and you're probably divorced, you're a single parent, and you'd need help, Southern Lights School is available for you. They won't turn you down. Okay, until you join us next time. Goodbye.